Well, hello everyone. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Just gotta get this real quick. This is my really fucked up palette. I know this is probably horrifying to some artists. I don't care. But today we are listening to the record of. Can you see it on here? Is it doing it properly? Oh wow, that's just going so slow. The latency on this thing. Maybe I should unplug it. It'll go faster. But anyways, we are listening to List Hungarian Rhapsodies, album two, numbers 2, 3, 5. I don't remember which side I put this on. But it's working now. Oh wow, there's just so much delay happening right now. I wanna stop the and restart. Sorry about the weird blackout. There we go. That's at least better. Today has been wonderful for me. That's not the brush I want to use. It is Hermes Day. Happy Hermes Day. Mercury Day. The day of communication. The day that I like to listen to my book on communication. So I was listening. I've already forgot his name. Edward, not Bernays or something like that. Edward L. Bernays or something like that. The book Propaganda. Freaking phenomenal. Now at this point he's talking about politics and how propaganda can be used for politicians and everything. And it really reflects a lot into things that I've kind of noticed as trends in how politics are done now, or at least how I perceive them. Um, Really interesting on how he talks about how to not tell people what to do, or really try to force people to believe something new, but to kind of take trends that are already in place and use that to the advantage of whatever you need to kind of help mold, as he puts it, public opinion. And he talks about like he says like that it's propaganda has gotten a bad rap because of uh, the dishonest propaganda. He said good propaganda and effective propaganda is not saying anything that is false or untrue. It is merely letting people know of what's out there and kind of like what you're offering, um, which I find very interesting because we do have that. Man, this light is just bothering me. There we go. We do have a perception of propaganda, at least now in America, because we've been kind of disillusioned by how our government is perceived to have used propaganda to make people believe things that are not true. But that is only one element of propaganda. A lot of propaganda is talking about true things, and it's really just trying to, well, I guess what you could say is promulgate um, ideas rather than necessarily trying to make people believe things are not true. Because they're saying like eventually people are going to find out, and people are not going to listen to you ever again if you do that. And I find that very interesting because, first of all, it's true, but there is a lot of true propaganda. Say, like, um, we let's think of it. Animal rights. A lot of animals are abused in the weird agribusiness that we have today, and so it would be propaganda to make a documentary on it and to inform people in an entertaining way of, hey, this is the abuse that is happening. Or say women's rights. You use propaganda in order to let people know, hey, this is unjust that, at least back in the day, women didn't have the right to vote or something like that. So you would maybe put on a play, things that would actually get people's attention. And a lot of it seems to be what propaganda is using art forms to, as he says in the book, the point of propaganda is not to change people's mind or make up their mind for them, but sway them for them to make up their own mind. You're not trying to tell people what to believe because then people will reject that immediately. What you're trying to do is present things in an entertaining way so that he or she can make up their own mind. But unfortunately, because of at least the way I look at it, that what happens or seems to happen is people are not really making up their own mind. What they are is they feel they have the sensation that they're making up their own mind, or that they've been informed and they're making an informed decision when they only know, say, like a few facts about the subject. Like when people argue about climate change, most of us are not scientists. We are not studying this field. Just love how this music is playing right now. And therefore, like the opinions that we have are not necessarily based on fact, but are based on the leaders that we choose to listen to in that given field, whether it be for or against that subject. And that's something that propaganda is all about. It's all about swaying the public, giving them just enough information to where they can feel like they are the ones making the decision. Because no one likes to feel like their power taken away, their power of decision taken away. And that is the main point of propaganda, is to make you have the sensation that you feel like you're doing the right thing, that you feel like you have freedom, that you feel like it is your choice. Like, say, I choose to wear this style of blue jean. Did you really choose that? Or did you associate, look at all the different things around you and look at the designers that you like, the celebrities that you like, and then kind of like, oh, I like their style, therefore I choose to wear this type of jean because that's what I like. When in reality, the whole reason that that celebrity is wearing that style of jean is most likely because they were paid to, or that fashion designer is because like someone in a certain textile industry, they want to sell more of this type of fabric, or we're changing this one thing because we want people to buy more of this, which also affects multiple other industries. And you feel like you're making an informed decision, therefore you're more okay with it, which I find a little disconcerting, but at the same time, it is we can't know everything. So, to an extent, we rely on trendsetters. Wow, that music's kind of loud. We rely on these different influencers. Like we even have a whole industry. Instagram is filled with influencers, and people don't seem to really think of it. What is an influencer? Someone that is influencing your opinion. Someone that is a propagandist. Someone that is selling you a lifestyle. Not because it really benefits you, but because it benefits the business. But that is how the world works. Whether that's ethical or not, that's for you to make up your own mind. Okay, good. The thing is actually working in time. Sometimes the thing is such a delay that it doesn't match up with the voice. But I find that such a fascinating, fascinating subject that a lot of our decisions have been made for us, and we're kind of okay with it. That's not the tiebreaker, was that? But to keep going along with the book, he talks about mostly how politicians like to try to tell people what they believe. You know, like, oh, you should believe this because such and such, instead of demonstrating these things. That's why I think um, possibly why Trump is sways so many people is because he's not trying to tell people what to believe. He demonstrates what he's talking about a lot and uses appeals to emotion. He, as much as intellectuals like to shit on him, he knows what he's doing when he talks, even if it sounds simple, sounds stupid. He knows what he's doing. There's a quite a lot more going on there than I originally assumed. But I'm not going to talk about political candidates or yada 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 because I really don't care. What I care about is informing the public of the things that politicians use and how they make their decisions of what they talk about. And that's why some politicians don't do so well, is because they think that if I just tell people, raise tariffs because we don't, then we'll have, certain quality things, or, raise or lower tariffs. And then because it'll make such and such happen, instead of appealing to the people in what actually matters to Joe Average, instead of talking about the things that really matter to them. There's a huge disconnect between what um, those people think matters to us rather than what actually appeals to our sensibilities. Which is why certain people go far in politics and some don't. Some people can persuade huge crowds because they appeal to what already concerns the public and addresses the issues. And also, they can raise concern for the public. They can make people concerned about things by talking about other things in a roundabout way. I would strongly encourage anyone that's watching this podcast, if you haven't or watching, yeah, I guess this is a podcast. If you haven't already checked out Sarah, some of Aristotle's work, I highly encourage that. His book Rhetoric, um, I think, is foundational. Like, it's a little heavy, I will say that, but it is worth checking out. He talks about different ways of how people are swayed. Actually, even better, How to Win an Argument by Schopenhauer. Because his whole thing is, I'm not telling you whether you're going to be right or wrong, but I'm telling you how to win. And that opens up a lot of discussion for how has this been used on you in the past. It can help you kind of rethink things. Like when you lose an argument with someone, like, was I just manipulated into thinking that was wrong? Was I gaslighted? Or was I actually wrong? Is this and when you come into arguments later on, is this person actually making sense? Or are they simply appealing to my emotions? Are they appealing to authority? Are they using these different techniques to sway me into believing such and such? And that, I think, is extremely important to know. One of my main goals with the reason why I do this art diary as a way to check in on myself, see how far I've grown, see how my art's coming, but also as a way to inform people of things that I have learned, things that I'm learning, and things that I think can benefit their lives and kind of illuminate them a little bit, which is what the whole purpose of my art is as well. But there are many books that have just been kind of, I don't want to say shoved under the rug, but they really have been because they're not part of our schooling. And like you might read it if you go to college, but like how many of us can afford fucking college anymore? Higher education used to be just kind of a norm, but now it has become a privilege of those that can afford to go into debt or have their parents pay for it for them. So, as always, I encourage people to get the app Scribd or Scribed, however you pronounce it, Scribd. They have a crap ton of books on there. You won't be supporting Amazon, most importantly, and they have many audio things in audiobook form and lots of the classics. So I would like to encourage you to read Plato, read Aristotle. You don't even have to read it. Like there's a great like almost radio theater troupe that does Plato's work, where there's different people playing the different characters of Socrates and the people he's talking with, and they dramatize dramatize it in such a way that it's entertaining, and you can actually take in these really deep philosophical concepts. Same thing with Aristotle. Some of the other stuff you might find more like on LibriVox. Schopenhauer's work's on there. A lot of Nietzsche's work is on Scribd. I'm not a huge fan of Nietzsche, but he is really, you should at least read through some of it. Don't take everything to heart, and just so that way you know different forms of philosophy. Um, I'd say mostly stick to. I'm not gonna. I don't want to tell you what you should and shouldn't listen to, but mm, try get Voltaire. I really fucking love Candide and Little Huron. Um, oh wait, yeah, that's I think that's pretty sure that's the title of those two books. Um, Voltaire is an amazing writer with great concepts. You should definitely check out his work. There's lots of other ones. One of these days I'll put up a reading list. Oh no, where'd my thing go? Anyways, those books are really worthwhile. I think I'm done for right now doing the preliminary background. But if you want, I also have a book club on Facebook. If anybody's interested, drop it in the comments and I'll send you a link to the invite. Um, it's called the Self Educators Book Club on Facebook. I post things that I'm reading. Other people post what they're reading as well. The point of it is to share information that is actually going to raise our consciousness. Basically, create polymaths. That is my goal. Is to create people that want to become polymaths, people that want to learn art, science, um, spirituality. That pretty much covers all things: art, science, and spirituality. Um, because when you have in science, you also have history, you have political science, you have biology, you have math. Oh, yeah, and philosophy, I love philosophy. But take your education into your own hands because your oppressors will never give you the keys to your chains. You must learn how to pick the lock yourself, and they're never going to give you a manual on how to do that either. So, anyways, that's where I'm going to leave it off for today. Educate yourself, build healthy habits, have a great day, and if you like my work, like what I talk about, and want to support me, check out my website, easygoodschmidtart.com. Link is in the description. Share this video. do a lot of other things. But for right now, just sharing this video, leaving a like or comments. If you, oh, by the way, if you are here, drop an orange dot so that way I know someone watched this far. Drop it in the comments. That's a little secret between you and me. Um, yeah. Hope you have a great day. Hope you learned a lot. Peace out, y'all.